This short film taught me about exposition a lot through the post-production process. I love this film we made. It just, when it came to the edit, just wasn't quite clicking. It was a bit confusing. There wasn't enough to follow. And I think that's really down to the exposition. First, some context. So game follows twin brothers Toby and Ade on a double date, which Ade has dragged his older, slightly more mature and put together twin brother Toby out to. He's the one with the car. So they pull up to the car park, and that's where the film begins. So what brought the film together for me is the exposition. We added in dialogue of the girl's voice, so the girl's voice note, so that we had another character in effect. Girl who's waiting for them to show up and they're late, and suddenly you have context immediately and stakes, which are, tension added from outside of the car where the twins are. I wanted to keep the camera in the car at all times for each shot, which kind of puts you in a corner with how you can shoot it and how much exposition you can get, because it's hard to get external states added into the car with the twins. So one way for that was this voice note. Without a voice note, when they're walking back to the car as well, you wouldn't have the same context or understanding of where they've just been. Bear in mind, we haven't shown where they've just gone. So it makes sense if they were just bantering, walking back to the car as twin brothers might, but now there's the element of understanding how they've swapped roles, which I still think is a little vague, it's a little convoluted, but it's much, much better with that dialogue than without. I'll show you.
Ade, where are you? You call this a first date? My calls are going straight to voicemail. Anyway, you better be bringing a friend. Hope you're okay though. I'll be here waiting. Bye.
We're here.
And it develops her character as well, where you can have her as a love interest, albeit quite a small character and unseen. You can add her as someone who's quite innocent in this situation, which creates, she's the innocent one, and then the twins are the ones who know the full picture along with the audience of the fact that they've swapped roles. So context which might not come in the film from where we didn't quite still have enough exposition. The twins swapped roles as they went to the date, because Toby was sick of his immature brother's antics and said, I can be you, let me pretend to be you on this date of this girl you really want to see, and I'll show you it's not that hard. So it definitely isn't a use case for fixing everything in post, but it's a good example of figuring out, or it's a helpful experiment even, to figure out what was needed and what we could do without doing any reshoots, what we could do just in post. So I do think we wrote and directed ourselves into a corner. We wanted the script to be quite minimal and relatively vague, but I think there's a limit, and with what we shot, it had gone past that, and it's teetering on the edge of where it can be now. So I wrote some notes after the whole process, so I'll just read them. I think you have to give the audience enough to get to know the characters that you want them to connect to, while still drawing them in with intrigue. My direction, which limited us to, was me wanting to keep the camera within the car at all times. I think it was the right way to shoot it. It contains you in the twins' world. It just means you can't follow them and show more pieces of the story connected to the date. So yeah, as a film, as part of our Lost and Found series, of the Streetlight series, it's a fun kind of very short film as a test to practice these things and figure out where the line is with exposition.